Let's go to MS Now White House reporter Jake Traylor. So, Jake, we just heard some of the president's remarks about this last call with Senator Graham, but there's more to what he and others are saying. Lots of condolences and the rest of it. So take it away.
Yeah, Alex, the president very clearly grieving today, as Michael noted, that Truth Social post that literally came out at the top of the show. The president referring to Lindsey Graham as a dear friend of his, truly a great man. This is something that over the past few years, that relationship was very clear. They were just about lockstep in policy over the past couple of years, minus a couple very few things. These were two individuals that had a genuine friendship. As far as we understand, they spoke on the phone very regularly. They visited each other frequently. These are people that clearly, beyond politics, were actually friends, as Michael noted as well. Potentially the last phone call that Graham could have made could have been to President Trump yesterday evening as they spoke. And despite a raucous and sometimes topsy-turvy relationship over the past decade, at least the past couple of years were marked by friendship. And as many senators and congressmen have noted over the past few hours today, he was someone who had President Trump's ear frequently. We also know that Graham, with his hawkish foreign policy, was a close ally of Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. We heard from Netanyahu and from President Trump earlier this morning, just talking about the legacy that Graham has left. Take a listen to both of those world leaders speaking this morning.
He was a great, like a gauge, a temperature gauge of the Senate. He got along with everybody. And yet he was a tough cookie in a lot of ways, but he had honestly, he was a great politician.
I think the president spoke about it. He was at once a great politician, but I think beyond that, I think he was just an incredible patriot for America. Israel has lost one of the great champions of the American-Israeli alliance.
Alex, as we know, Trump and the now late Senator Graham were not always allies. They ran against each other back in the 2016 election. Graham was initially a very staunch critic of President Trump, came back into his good graces post January 6th in 2021. Again, he split and then again hitched his wagon to President Trump when it still appeared he was the near-term future of the Republican Party. But the past couple of years, at least, have been marked by their close relationship. I think a key question now, as we sift through the morning from President Trump and from other colleagues of Senator Graham's, is Graham had a very unique role as a key ear, had the ear of President Trump in a lot of key moments, especially on foreign policy. A question now is, through the morning, who is going to fill ultimately this chasm of influence that Graham had on President Trump, especially amidst an ongoing war with Iran?
Absolutely. Jake, thank you so much for that.